Hello everyone and welcome back to Games by Saul. Today we're doing a new type of video. I am doing a tutorial because I want to give back to the community a bit more. So today I was thinking, what can I do? Today I'm going to show you how to import and animate sprites. Very quickly, very simply, really nice way of animating your sprites and getting them into Unity and being able to do stuff with your own player. So what you need to do first is design a sprite. Use any software you want. I recommend a Sprite. You do have to pay for it, but it's a really nice software if you want to make pixel sprites. So I'm going to show you what I just quickly made then. And here we go. Please make your sprites better than mine. This is a little slime sprite because it's nice and simple. It's a 128 by 128. Really nice, really simple to make. Took me like 2 seconds. Outline, eyes, mouth, color. Now there's two ways you can do animations of sprites. You can do them in Unity or you can do them with your software if your software allows. I'm going to show you how to do them in Unity. If you'd like to see how you do it in software, please let me know, but in Unity is a really nice way of doing it. So what you want to do is click File, Export, and choose a place to export your sprite to. So I'm going to make a new folder. Once you've exported your sprite, you need to go to Unity and make a new project. So I'm going to do that now with you. So when you're in the Unity Hub, click New, and this window will appear. So we want to make a new 2D and give it a name for your project. For now, I'm just going to call it Sprite Tutorial. And pick a location and save it. Once you've done that, click Create. So we're in Unity now. Make sure you're using the latest stable version, which should be 2019.2.2 F1. Use that at the time of this video. So you go to Project, and we have all these folders. So we're going to create a new folder. We'll call it Sprites. Then what you want to do is click Import New Asset. Now go to where your save file was for that image that you just exported and import it in. So I've just done that, and here we have Sprite 1. Now what you want to do is go over to these settings here. Now there's a few ways you can do sprites. There's single and multiple. So if you do a sprite sheet, so it's just one sprite on a single PNG, or whatever file you say, that's fine. You can go multiple. Because I've only done single, we're going to stick to that. Now the size I did was 128, and the pixels per unit right now is 100. So if we just drag it in now, this is what it looks like. So we make it 128, it gets smaller. We make it 64, it gets bigger. So that's how you should go about it. It depends on what size you want your character of the game. Just put it in, mess around with the size and see what fits. So we're going to do 128 because then it's the same size as it is. If you go into our scene view, you can see that 128 is about the size of one of the squares on the scene, which is what I prefer to do. It's how I usually match up. Because I mean, we can do 64 with it. And then you see it's a little bit bigger than the screen, which isn't what I prefer to do. So good practice, I find, is pixels per unit should be the same size as your sprite. Or as other sprites similar. There's other settings we need to do as well. Some sprites, the more detail you add, get a bit blurry when you add them into Unity, so what you want to do is filter mode, point and no filter, compression, none, and click apply. Sometimes it doesn't apply always, and it'll say, are you sure you want to apply? Click apply again. It won't really affect this sprite because it doesn't have much detail, but if it did, this would make it not be blurry. So we've got a sprite in the game, we click play. There it is, our little person. Now, what we want to do is make an animation for the sprite. I'm going to show you how to make a basic animation that just moves on its own. If you want more tutorials on how to do movement animations, please comment down below if you want more of them. I said below twice, leave me alone. So, I'm going to move myself out of the way. You want to click on Sprite, or your player, and on the animation window, which is found by going to Window, Animation, you'll see it says Create, so click that. Now, make your save in a folder, so what you want to do is go to your Assets folder, create a new folder, call it Animation. Do this from the File Explorer, which you can't see on my screen at the moment. So we're going to call this animation Idle. It's not really its idle animation. For me, it'll be more jumping animation because I want to show you the stuff you can do. So the first way to create animation is by importing the asset as a whole. I'm going to show you the other way as well because I wanted to do that. So you click on the record, and at 0, 0, just leave it as it, but then say at 30, you move it up. So then the animation will look like this. Obviously that doesn't look very good, so what you want to do is just make it loop. So that's 60, so after 1 minute, go back down. So it will just look like this now. And as you can see, it looks like it's bouncing. Now, what you want to do is go to Windows. We're going to click Stop Recording, Windows, Animation, Animator. And as you can see, on entry, it goes to idle. And there's numerous things you can do to play around with this. You can change the speed of the animation here, or you can even change the motion of the animation, which is just a different animation. That's a really simple way of just doing animation, just like that. I mean, you can change other things as well. So, if on the way up we want it to get scaled down, because that's normally how it would look, So I just changed the scale to this, so it gets, so it will thin out and grow taller as it jumps, and then it goes to there. And then what you can do at 1 is just click on it, it's inspected there, 1, and it'll go back to normal. So this is how it looks now. Already a lot better. Now there are other things you can do with the animation. That's how you do a very simple animation. But if you want to do even more than that, you can make it so different body parts do different stuff. All you have to do for that is if we go back into our software, so here we are in Sprite. So all I'm going to do is you export each thing separately. Why you do that? Just so you can have a bit more control about what the animation does. So say if your character has arms, which mine does not, we can add an arm to it. It will be, you can be able to swing the arm around. So let's just quickly add an arm. So here we have 2 arms for my character now. Left arm, right arm, depending on how you look at it. So what you want to do then with your software is export that layer only. So you go into export, which you can't see, but click on file, export. And as you can see here, visible layers, click on selected layers, but only do 1 at a time. So we'll call it, so this is the right arm I've selected, so we'll call it right arm. Click on the left arm, file, export, selected layers, left arm. Now come back into Unity, import those 2, the left arm and the right arm. Again, apologies if before you made it like all one sprite. All you can do is, if using a sprite, is just select the arm and make it onto a different layer, Control X, Control V on a new layer. So then on these we have to do the exact same. So they are 128, so do that for both. You can select multiple objects and change their import settings. Point no filter, and compression none. While this may affect performance in some ways, it will just look a lot better in game. So I'm going to move my face out of the way so you can see what I'm doing a bit more. So on your sprite, you're going to drag on these body parts. I'm going to reset the transforms. This should be a better place. So you go on here, click on the gear icon, reset, and as you can see, it's now gone lined up perfectly. Now, if you go on the animation, because these are children, they get affected by the animation as well. So they shrink down as well, which is what we want. So let's say you want something a little bit wacky. Let's say when it gets to this one, you want one arm to do this, and the other arm to do that. And then when it gets back to this, you want it to go back to normal. So now we have a look at it. It's a weird animation, but it's an animation. Now, one thing you might notice is there's a bit of clipping. Also, if you notice it's a bit too fast or slow, you can just change the sample rate. So now 120 is much faster, but if I do 12, it's much slower. So just depending on how you want the animation to look, if we go on the right arm, you see the sorting layer, ordering layer is 0. Or if we go on our sprite, the ordering layer is also 0. So if we put this to 1, it'll be on top of everything. And now if you look, the arms are behind its head, but we could also make it -1. And now the arms are on top of it. That's just up to you, personal preference, how you want to do the animation. For me, this animation is a little bit too slow. And also I want the body on top of everything, so we'll go to 1. And we'll change the sample rate to 30. And now that's much nicer, and I like that a lot more. This is a really simple way to do animations in Unity. Obviously we could have done a lot more, like I could have imported the eyes separately and made them blink when it gets to the top. Again, literally just do what I did with the arms, so import them, export them separately, add them to the parent object, which is sprite 1. I'm going to call it parent just so it makes more sense. Because all these are children, so you can affect the children, so you can add an animation to the parent and it will affect the children as well. But changing the children's rotation won't change the parent's rotation. But that's basically a really simple way of doing animations. Now, the other way to do animations in Unity is by doing a sprite sheet, which I can show you how to do now. So here we are back in Sprite. I'm going to show you how to do a really simple animation, nothing too fancy. So all you have to do really, click on new frame, it'll be the exact same. Let's say we want everything to move up a tiny bit, so you go 1, 2, 3. Let's say we want that to happen, and then let's say we want one eye to close on this one, so what you can do is just erase it. If you're worried if it erases on the other layers, well, if you go back, it's still there. So then duplicate, click new frame, sorry, and move up a little bit more. So now if we click play, Obviously it's very jittery, but that's just because I'm doing a really simple animation. You can add in between frames to make it look a bit nicer, make it blurry in between, make some frames faster than the others. If you're using a sprite especially, you just click P on a frame, you can change the frame time. So I am happy with this, because all we have to do in Unity is make it go back. So you can select all the frames, go to File, Export, but instead of this time doing selected layers, you go on all frames, and we'll do all visible layers, because if you do select the layers, it won't do them all. So make sure it looks like this when you want to do them all, and we'll call it player dot. We'll call it player jump 1. Now, HSprite does this really smart thing. If you put a number in, it'll go, oh, do you want it to do 1, 2, 3, 4? Or however many frames you got. So click yes to that, unless you don't want to, but why wouldn't you? Back into Unity, so we go on. Let's make a new folder for this one. We'll call it Sprite Sheet Animation. So we'll go on import again, import new asset. Again, you can't see my folders, but just make sure you import the right ones. Here they all are. We'll do the exact same as before, select them all. We'll do 128. We will make it point no filter and compression none. Click apply. Click apply again, and it'll say, are you sure you want to apply? Yes. You can't see this again, but it does say that usually. So now we have this. So there's a few ways we can do it. We can either just click them all and drag them on, and it will want to make an animation for you. So we'll go to assets, go to your folder of animations, call it jump. We'll call it play. This is the controller, so we'll call it player jump. Call it player. So now we have player jump there. And here we have this is the animation controller, and this is the animation itself. So we're going to call that animation jump. If we go back into the controller, it's called jump. It says player there, but you can just change the name. It's got the right motion, which is what matters. So if we open up jump and we click play, so here you can see the animation. After 3 seconds, it does this. I'm not a big fan of that because we click play. That's how it looks. So now when it gets to the top, it just kind of loops back down. So what we can do is, when it gets to this one, we want it to go backwards. So we'll copy. Sometimes the animations at the last frame get a bit jittery because it kind of jumps back to the first one. So what I tend to do is copy the first frame and put it at the end again. It usually doesn't affect it too much. It just kind of looks like this. So now you can see it's starting to jump. Now there's one interesting fact is on here it will say loop time. If you don't want the animation to loop, you just untick that and it will look fine. So if we click play, obviously that animation's awful, but you get the basic idea. There's 2 ways of doing animations, really simple. We'll enable the parent object again, move it over just a tiny bit. So now that's 2 ways of doing animations. One's doing the Unity method, doing it in Unity. Just make sure you import the body parts separately, so that way you can have more control if you want to. And there's the sprite sheet way. I'm calling it a sprite sheet, where you just do new frames, export all the frames and add them all together. One thing with the sprite sheet way is if you see all these keyframes here, keyframes is like the point of the animation, you can just move them all. So let's say we want 3 seconds between each one. So what I've done here is I made it 3 seconds between each one and I made the sample rate 60. So in total, it's 23 seconds, but now it looks like this, which I think is a bit nicer. Obviously, still looks ridiculous, but you get the basic idea of how to make an animation. Now, the only problem with this one is you can't affect each body part separately, which is why I prefer the other method more. Because I can, as long as I export the body parts separately, I can change them how I want. So that's basically it for this tutorial. If you would like to see more, and I would love to do more because I want to try and get back to the community a bit more this year, please comment down below and let me know. If you want to know how to make the player move or do a movement animation, which I'm not good at, but I can show you how to make the player move at least, comment down below and let me know if you want to see a movement animation with these kind of sprites. Hopefully this has helped. If you've got any questions, please comment down below and I'll try my best to answer. And thank you all for watching. Bye.